Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the Byte by Byte podcast. In this episode today, we're joined by Romain Lit. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Lhéritier, yes.
Lhéritier, CEO and also the co-founder of iPin Technologies. So thank you so much for joining me today. To start my podcast off, I have a quick few introduction questions for you. So the first question I have for you is for people hearing about you for the first time, what's the best way to describe who you are and what you do?
Well, so first, since you had trouble with my last name, I am French American. So I was originally born in France and I moved to the States 21 years ago
Mm-hmm.
and raised my family here. And then what I do, so first let me tell you about the company. So the company name is Epon Technologies. We are a consulting firm. And we help typically large companies adopt new technologies and modernize their tech with technologies such as AWS, Snowflake, and more. And typically, we serve financial services. So think banks, insurance companies, and capital markets. So that's what the company does. And then myself, my role here is I'm a CEO. So I'm a general manager. I'm taking care of all the functions. I have people working for me that do marketing, sales, delivery. So we're a consulting firm. So we have a big team of engineers that deliver for our customers, and then accounting for invoicing and accounting, and then human resources. So I'm over all these functions. And my job is, I describe it as being an orchestra conductor, just making sure the music, everybody works in harmony and we produce results.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. What originally pulled you into the field of technology?
Into the field of technology. So a very long time ago, I'm not going to say my age, my grandfather, who was Spanish, and actually I really admire that he saved money to buy me my first computer when I was 10 years old. And I started coding when I was 10. So first in BASIC on an Atari computer, and then I just fell in love with computing and programming. So I love science. I love computers, and I'm working in the field I love.
That's really cool. That's really awesome. Was there a moment early on in your career where you realized that this is the field that you wanted to pursue?
Sure, yeah. So my second job in my life was in consulting. I worked for American Management Systems, which is now CGI, and it's a consulting firm. And I quickly fell in love with that job because you get to see multiple companies, you get to solve new challenges, discover new business models. And so I just like the novelty of being in consulting. And also to be a good consultant, you have to keep up with the technology. So it's always fresh. So I quickly fell in love with that type of work, consulting, professional services.
That's really cool. Moving on from the quick introduction section, I want to move into the career stories where I want to just ask some questions about your career and how you've got to your position so far. So, looking back on your career, was there a specific area which was a big turning point for you?
You know, it's been very gradual, I would say, my journey in leadership. When I think about it, is sometimes it's little things, like in high school, I was a class president at some point for my class, and it was my first taste of some leadership. And in my engineering school, I led the film club, which is very random, but it was also another taste of leadership. And so I think I got into leadership just by these side quests and then learning that I actually liked it. And to me, what drives me is always helping people and making situations and people better. But there was never a point where I say, I'm going to be a boss or I'm going to be a leader. Right. I did go, so, I studied engineering, and then mid-career, I went to business school. I went to William and Mary and I did my MBA. And so I think that helped me understand what I could do, and set me up to be a CEO. So I would say it's a mix of natural progression and also having that degree that taught me things in leadership and many things that are helping me in my job now. It's a natural progression. I think even when I coded, and my first job as a manager, it was at Genworth, an insurance company in town. It was more because I realized that I like to build things, and I realized that if I wanted to build more software, it was easier with a team. So, very quickly I became a manager, and it was kind of natural, I would say.
Was there any failures or challenges that you had in career that changed how you think today?
Challenges, sure. So sometimes people ask me, what is it like to go from being a programmer, being an engineer to being a manager and a people manager. And I think the hardest thing is when I coded, if I made a mistake, I could go back, fix the mistake, just undo, maybe go back to a version, previous version in time. But then when you work with people, when you make a mistake, there is no undo function. So sometimes, I say the wrong thing to some people, maybe I can maybe lack tact in some situations or not say the right thing. And when you make a mistake with people, it's really costly because people remember and it can have, so I remember some people management mistakes that I regret, and it's part of the learning at the same time.
Yeah, that's great. It's always a part of the learning process, even for the people that have the highest roles. So
Mhm.
that's really great to hear. So the another question I have in here is if you could go back and talk to yourself at the start of your career, what would you tell yourself? Do you have any advice that you would like to give?
I think about it sometimes. And, I have two kids who are 21 and 18. So that's also what I'm trying to tell them. I think if I went back, I would take more risks. So I think once you get older, life happens, you will get,
Yeah.
if you're lucky, it's a wonderful thing, a family and a house and a mortgage and many obligations that prevent you from taking risks. So what I would tell any student is while you don't have all those obligations, take risks. And risks it can mean anything. It can be starting a business. It can mean traveling, going to another country, which is something I did. I lived in different countries, when I started my career. But yeah, I would say take risks while you can and you don't have obligations. You experience things.
That's really awesome. That would be great for fellow people that are listening to my podcast too, because I'm trying to appeal this podcast to students that are my age. So I think that's
Mhm.
honestly a good thing. Taking risks and trying to be an entrepreneur and stuff. That's
Yeah,
all really important.
plenty of
Yeah.
time to course correct if it doesn't work. Plenty
hmm
of time.
Yeah, you have plenty of time, especially for my position now, because I'm only a high
Mhm.
school student. You have all of college ahead of me
Yes.
as well.
And life's in front of you.
Yes, exactly. So from the career story section, I want to talk more about your current role. Of course, you're CEO
Mhm.
and co-founder of your company, which is amazing. And I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about the future of technology. I wanted to get some of your thoughts about that. So my first
Mhm.
subsection of this is about AI and ethics in AI. So
Okay.
I researched you and I noticed that you talk a lot about ethical responsibility in AI. I think that's personally also something I'm really interested in because especially in high school and college, there's more students that are more reliant on AI to do their assignments and stuff. And I think personally that's not really a great thing to use AI for. You're not going to be trained for it. You're not really learning anything.
Mm.
So I just wanted to ask you personally, what's one area of AI development today that worries you the most for the future?
That's a good question. I'm really torn when it comes to AI because first I can see potential very positive impacts, right? Because I'm pretty sure one of these days we're going to have breakthrough advances in the science, AI.
Yes.
Who knows, maybe next month somebody will come up with a cure for cancer or a way to do nuclear fusion in a more industrialized way. So there are many good things that can happen. But at the same time, what worries me is, and I've seen some changes before, is that the changes are happening so fast that I don't think society had time to research implications and consequences. And it's kind of a rush. And there's no choice. You have to embrace it, right? Because it's like a hurricane. And so the fact we didn't have the time to research things, such as you talked about students, the impact of cognitive, of just using AI instead of thinking. What are the ramifications of that? Are we building the right neural pathways as students when we do this? So there are many question marks, and that make me a little bit anxious. So
Yeah, same.
hope for the best, prepare for the worst, I think they say. I don't know. Time will tell, I guess.
At your company, do you guys use AI as a tool for learning or do you guys use it as a assistant?
That's a good question. So we're consultants, so it's always expected to adopt cutting edge technologies, the latest and greatest. So we use AI in everyday life. So our engineers use AI to produce code faster, develop faster, move things to production faster for our customers, so it allows us to provide greater value. We use AI also to identify business use cases. So it could be things like for a bank, how to use AI to speed up the loan underwriting process. So I call it business AI. And yeah, even our staff uses it. So even in HR, we use it and everything. So yeah, we do use AI everywhere. I use AI myself. Again, it's coming at us, right? So you have to adopt it, I guess. Or like what they say AI is not going to replace your job, but somebody using AI will. So
Yes.
yeah, we are embracing it.
That's also saying that the last interview I did, the interview talked a lot about it, and
Okay.
about how if you use AI better than somebody else, they'll take your job. So I think that was a pretty cool
Yeah, I have
thing to
to.
hear.
Yeah.
So where do you think companies are moving too fast with AI without thinking deeply enough?
So something we see even among our customers is something we call a shadow AI. So everybody is using AI. Sometimes companies are using tools that they don't even know about. So it can be scary, right? Because you could have data leaks, very bad incidents happen. So I think a concern is just that shadow AI and the sprawl of AI tools that sometimes you don't know what they do with your data. That's
Yeah.
kind of scary. So the best companies are able to adopt AI in a governed way, in a way that they give the power of AI, but at the same time with guardrails. And actually, that's something that we do for our customers. We help them do that, do responsible AI with guardrails.
That's great. That's great.
Mhm.
Again, with the growth of AI, it's kind of concerning me as well because I remember back when I was in sixth grade, ChatGPT just came out 2022. It's a big thing. And nowadays, I'm seeing AI can fully generate videos and do all of this really complex data stuff. So, I mean, how fast it's growing is really shocking to me as well.
Mhm. It is pretty amazing.
Who knows what it could do in the next 4 years' time? It could like, make whole movies or something,
Yeah, you know what's funny in my generation is I saw life before the internet. You
right?
know, I used to send letters and have pen pals and send letters, wait for a week for an answer. Then I saw the internet and now AI, I think it's the third technological age in my life. So yeah, it's interesting to see those changes.
Yeah, it's really crazy to see how AI is growing so fast. It's like
Mhm.
the future is really coming. Do you think AI ethics today, do you think it's mostly a genuine thing or is it mostly a performative
Mm,
for show?
that's a big question. And I'm not really sure how to measure it. What I would say is that the appeal of profit is always very powerful. So I think we have a tendency to focus on short-term gains. So there is a rush that I think prevents us from thinking about ethical question in a real way. Again, I don't know how to quantify it. It's just a feeling. But if you see, you know, the stock gains for AI-related companies and everything, there is a rush that, yeah, people are focused on the gains and money and be not so much on the ramifications. And I think it will take like any change like this, it will take I don't want to be a doom and gloom, but it will take some kind of mistake or a disaster to have a backlash and get controls more in place, you know. So I don't know what it will look like, but
Yeah,
that may happen.
that's good. That's good. I think mostly if it's just
It's
generating
part
you
of life.
profit, they won't really care that much about the consequences of it. So you said that you also use AI. So I just wanted to ask you, is there any ethical dilemmas you personally had while using AI?
There is one, I mean, it's not huge, but I use AI to write a lot. And I'm a non-native English speaker, as I
Okay.
told you, and as you can hear. So it is really useful to me because I make fewer mistakes when I write with AI. It allows me to be better understood. But at the same time, I need to make sure I'm authentic. So I'm always thinking, when I write on LinkedIn, for instance, I use AI, but what I do is I will give my thoughts and then ask AI to say it in the right way, you know, in English and write well.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking, is it authentic? Is it me? Or is it, you know, that's so yeah, I'm asking those questions sometimes.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. Sometimes if it's just to help me with a big task I'm trying to accomplish, then sometimes I could just use it. It's just like a good tool as a sidekick
Mhm.
just to help out sometimes. Moving on from AI and ethics, I wanted to ask a little bit more about data and the business side of things. So,
Okay.
I've noticed like a lot of businesses are trying to be more like data driven, focusing more on like
Mhm.
technology and improving their data. So is there any like what's the biggest mistake that companies that make, do you think, when trying to use data correctly?
Mm, that's a good question. I think the biggest mistake I see in big companies is often they grow and they acquire other companies, and when that happens, they integrate the other companies, but they will not necessarily clean the data or bringing into one spot. And then after you do all these things, after you grow, there is a natural entropy. And there's something we call in tech technical debt. Have you heard of technical debt before?
I've not, but I'll
The
look into it.
concept. It's just like if you keep maintaining systems and you don't really tend to them, after a while you have debt, just like you have credit card debt.
Hmm.
And so I see companies delaying many projects to actually clean that up, do governance, and take care of the quality of the data. And then if you don't do that, the consequences, you may have the wrong output, you may get the wrong KPIs, key performance indicators, the wrong reports, and then you make the wrong business decisions. Or you could have a security issue. So I think for more companies, it's really not just looking at the output of the data systems, but looking at the health and the hygiene of these systems and keeping up with it, not letting that go too behind, fall too behind.
Yeah, that's great because I know that data sets can be super complicated, just a bunch of numbers and labels. So I
Mhm.
think sorting it takes take a
Yeah,
very,
it's
very
not
long time.
sexy, but you have to take care of that,
Yeah,
otherwise trouble can happen.
yeah, and it's really important as well. So as a CEO yourself, I just wanted to ask, do executives like you, do they understand their own data systems or do they really just look at the outputs?
So I think, it's to continue on that theme. Yeah, I think most executives look at the output, and to be honest, they should. An executive is not supposed to dig into the weeds all the time. I
Yeah.
think part of being an executive is having a longer range and looking at the vision and those decisions. So I don't think it's necessarily the role of an executive to look at the data systems, but on any executive team, there should be a strong technology executives, chief information officer, chief data officer. There should be somebody in charge of making sure the hygiene is there, and they have a team that can take care of that. And that technology executive needs also to be able to translate that hygiene into business terms so that they can talk to the board, they can talk to the CEO, and not just talk in bits and bytes. And they can talk about the value of cleaning up the systems, of having governance and everything.
Mhm.
So my answer to recap is I don't think every executive needs to be concerned about the details of data systems, but the technology executives surely have that responsibility for the team.
Yes, I agree with that too, honestly. So moving on from the data and business section, I have one last section in this,
Mhm.
leadership and then also engineering because and construction because you work at a construction firm. So at Ipon, I don't know how
Yeah,
to pronounce.
Ippon. It's Japanese, actually. It's a judo term. We were founded by a judo champion. So it's Ippon. It means one full
Ipon.
point in judo. Yes.
Okay. So at Ipon, how do you preserve
Yeah.
a strong engineering culture like construction and
Yes.
all of that
Yeah.
while
And to
growing
be
the company?
clear, we don't do construction like building construction. We build software, Um,
Ah,
yes, software. But there are many analogies with construction. So I get, but yeah, so how do we keep the engineering culture? Is that the question?
yeah.
Well, it's the same, right? Because we have an engineering culture again. So
Yeah.
it's except that it's software engineering. So it's really important for us to have an engineering culture because our clients want us to be experts. So they want us to keep up with the latest and greatest, like I said. So it's important to have that culture. And it means that people need to be able to learn. Learning is very important. So first, when we hire people at Ipon, we hire learners. So it's part of the interview process. We want to hire people that show learning velocity, they love to learn, they learn fast. So first, that's how we keep that culture. We start with the culture, and then we have a lot of room for to learn. People get certifications in different technologies. We have lunch and learns and all sorts of things. So that's how we keep this learning culture, I would say.
That's really awesome. Yeah. That's great to hear, actually. I'm a company that's focused on promoting technology to a newer. audience, helping more people
And
learn.
also as a boss, I guess, I mean, I hope I do a good job because I was an engineer myself. So I respect the work of our software engineers, and I don't do it anymore, but I relate to it. So I hope it helps.
That's really great to hear. Okay, I'm gonna move on from the current role section and
Okay.
go to the advice for students section, where I'm gonna go ask you
Okay.
some, because again, I'm appealing this podcast to students like me who want to learn more about the field.
Okay.
So,
It's great.
coming from a executive like you, I think you can give some great advice for students that are
You
looking.
can try.
So again, I want to ask more about AI and how it's growing in the field and how it's getting more of a concern. So for students entering the technology field right now or who are really interested in it right now, are there any leadership skills that are becoming more important because of the growth of AI,
In terms of leadership skills,
or just any skills in general?
so first, I mean, my advice to students is to do the work of still understanding the underlying technologies. So there are fundamentals like networking, things that will not change. And I think you need to know all those things. It's if you take a shortcut and you just use AI and never learn these things, you don't know what good looks like. And I think it's hard to know that AI produce something that's a quality product if you don't know the underlying tech. So I would say still spend time learning those technologies. And then in terms of leadership, because AI is taking care of a lot of the grunt work, I think there is more time for consulting, for leadership. So it's people skills. So really communication, influencing, because, even it's interesting. I think as a developer, when I was a developer, I didn't develop most of the day. I spent a lot of time going to meetings, convincing people that my approach was the right one, getting buy-in for certain features. So I think AI is replacing the grunt work, but there's still a lot of work to do on the people side of things. And that's what students need to develop. So teamwork, working as a team, communication, presentation skills, these are all important.
Right, right. So moving on, I just wanted to ask, I'm not sure if you know about the skills that schools in the US use or try to emphasize, but I was just trying to ask, what skill or skills do you think schools underemphasize, don't focus on the most, that matter really much in real world technology?
French, French.
French?
People need to learn French. I'm kidding. I think in the US, actually, we do it better, but teamwork, working on team projects and learning to interact with people. Again, I said it before, but presentation skills are really important. And just developing curiosity, being curious about everything. I think it's important.
Yeah, I think I agree too. I think promoting more career opportunities would be better. I think schools focus more
Mhm.
on some of the other skills that are not really, they're important, but not to the
Well, I
level of
mean,
some other ones.
in high school, it's okay to do fundamental things. You still have
Yeah,
time to.
but obviously you'll gain a lot of those skills if you get involved in clubs and stuff, I think. So I think
Mhm.
it's all good. So in my oh,
Another advice, you asked me for advice for students.
yeah,
The main advice I like to give to college students, but I guess it's okay for high school too, is you are in an environment with amazing teachers, amazing opportunities to learn. And I would just maximize that. So if you have a chance to take an extra credit in something weird that may not even be useful for your career, do it. You have a few years where you have access to amazing people, amazing teachers, and I would say don't slack, make the most of it. Just soak it up.
yeah, that's great. Procrastination can always be everybody's worst enemy. So that's really great. So in my last interview, Dr. Peter Eichen, he was
Talking
talking a
different
lot
stuff. And I
about
go over and say,
networking.
look, you're going to pretend that I'm a bowling ball and you guys are bowling ball pins. I'm going to hit you in a way that makes you go this way, you go this way, you go this way. You can't come back to talk to each other until you've met 3 new people. But you're at a networking event. It's okay. They expect you to do that. And all of a sudden you find out, oh my goodness, wow, here's somebody who's really interested in saving puppies because that's what I like to do is save puppies or whatever your particular interest
And
is.
since he
Oh yeah, I
brought,
know him. He's a good guy. Yes, yes.
oh, you know him, that's awesome.
Talk about the data master. Yes.
Yes, exactly. He talked a lot about his company, Dem International, and how they run student chapters
Mhm.
and how networking is really important. So I wanted to take it from your perspective now. So how important do you think
Mhm.
networking skills are compared to actual technical skills?
That's a good question. So I think at the beginning of your career, technical skills are very important. I think it depends on where you are in your career. And then later, networking becomes more important. But for me, networking, it means different things. I think the essence of it is being curious and branching out by meeting new people and learning new things. So when you network, if you go to meetups, for instance, you will learn new subjects that you would never have thought of learning.
Hmm.
So I think networking is not just about making business contacts, but it's about being curious. And if you do it early enough in your career, it's going to create luck for you. Probably if you start meeting people now, your job that you will have in 10 years will be from those connections. And networking and meeting people just creates that luck.
Right.
It's the future luck. So yeah, I think it's very important. And the older you get, the more important it is. And the number one advice I give people is to network before you have to. Sometimes, it happens that people don't branch out, don't build those relationships, and unfortunately, sometimes you can get laid off, and then all of a sudden you want to have those relationships, and it takes years to build. So I think networking early and as much as you can is important. Plus, it's fun. I don't know,
Yeah.
meeting new people.
Going to conferences and stuff, all great places to
Hmm.
network. Is there
Yeah,
any
it makes you like.
is there anything that you could recommend in high school where I am for networking opportunities? Is there anything that's nice?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have a car and you can drive. In Richmond, we have many meetups. So in the evening, for instance, here at IPON, we host multiple meetups where people come and talk about data, talk about cloud technologies. So I would say you can go on the Meetup website, meetup.com, and
Meetup.com.
look for communities. To be honest, there are so many communities, even not technical. People who like cats, people who want to speak French. So you can join these meetups and learn random things and meet interesting people. So I think it's actionable.
That sounds really cool. So it's just like a just to express your interest kind of thing, like whatever you
Yeah,
feel.
so it's a bunch of communities that meet to share about a certain subject. So everybody can find something they want to talk about. That would be a good way to start.
That's really cool.
And there's free pizza. In our meetups, you have free pizza.
Oh wow, that's a great incentive to have.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Maybe I'll come to one of them. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, if you were a high schooler again in today's world where all of these growing technologies are happening, is there something that you would focus on learning first?
I mean, for me these days, I'm really interested in non-technical skills like philosophy, psychology,
Yeah.
behavioral science. So I would actually spend time learning psychology, for instance. I think it's invaluable as a student because then you learn how to work with people. It's also helpful in your personal life. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think psychology is really interesting as well. Helps you really understand people. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and yourself, which is difficult. Understand
Yeah.
yourself.
There's a special course that you can take in my school which focuses a lot on it goes in depth into psychology and the history of it. Moving on, we're gonna go to the closing segment now. So this is the end of the podcast. I just want to say again, thank you so much for taking the time out and helping me with this project that I'm working on. I was been really passionate about this for a while and I just never got a good chance to start it. So I'm just thankful that you were able to come out and help me.
Oh, sure. It's been a pleasure.
So the first question of my closing segment, where do you think technology is heading over the next 5 years, 10 years?
I mean, that's a huge question. I mean, it's
It could
a
be like
lot
a
of
general thing
automation,
as well.
So many things that we do, a lot of the grunt work that we do is being automated. So I think technology is going to be so simple that we can focus again on more human things. So it's almost like the more advanced technology gets, the more we would deal with technology.
Is there something you're excited about right now that more people should be paying attention to?
I talked about it before, but I think in this day and age and everything happening with the news and AI, that's also accelerating sometimes fake information and all that. I think spending time on learning philosophy, what is a good logical discussion, and some fundamentals to, I think it's important and it gets me excited.
That's awesome. Final question I have for you. It's a really deep question, so get ready for it.
Oh my God, that wasn't deep.
Yeah, it's a deep question. So, what do you want your long-term impact to be on this tech industry?
Not on the tech industry. I'm just hoping that, I hire people here to work in my company, and sometimes they have a good experience, sometimes a bad experience, and I hope that overall with my leadership, I have a positive impact on people's lives here, that they feel like they've grown. Hopefully overall that the net is positive, and the same for our clients. I do like to serve clients, and I hope we have a positive impact on them. So
That's great
that's
to
what I
hear.
want.
That's amazing to hear. Okay, well, that was the last question I had for my podcast. Thank you so much again for helping me. And
Oh,
that's the end of the episode
you
2.
will complete have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.